All right, cool. Now live. All right, so we're going with part four. Part four of how to get unstuck. I've been really had a lot of fun making this series because I hear so many different people are getting stuck, and I've talked to lots of different people. I had the pleasure to about different ways you can get around it. So if you listen to a lot of this, if you have been following a lot of this is how you can get unstuck. It might not apply to you now. It might not apply to you at all, but it can apply to somebody because we all get stuck. I don't wear a crown on my head, and I don't want to act like I'm like this perfect person. I mean, I get stuck just like anybody else. I might not stay there quite as long because some of the things that what we've been talking about, and what we're going to be talking about, it makes me move faster. One of the big things I talk to my clients about is called high lows. That's when you already know what to do. You've already figured out there's nothing wrong with you. It's just a moment that happens in life. That's what stuck really is. Sometimes it's, the call to get better. Sometimes it's called to get more strategic. Sometimes it's a call to get more creative, but it's not about keeping you there. But when you have those high lows, you do have those dips, but you just don't stay there. And that's the big thing about that. But kind of wrapping this series up, every week I'm going to be talking about something and or topics, and I'm working on creating a schedule based upon the need. So if you have something that you want me to talk about, to speak on, and want some different ways of getting around it, or even some different perspectives, shoot me a message, send me an email. But let me know if you're feeling bold. Jump on here and we can do the work live because that's something I'm really working towards as well. But with these strategies and with everything I'm talking about, it's the big first. I got a couple of goals other than helping you get around it, but it's about people recognizing that things that happen to us many times in life might seem really unique, really specific to a certain person, or you feel like that it's just you. And you feel like that no one else is a part of that, or no one else knows what you're talking about, and no one gets it. And this is something that's a huge awakening for me. About 7 or 8 years ago, in my career, that I just noticed that we all tend to think, and I know this consciously, but to see it actively, I want to say to this, we all know that we're not the only ones going through it, but we will silo ourselves away and kind of isolate ourselves. And isolation, make no mistake, is the enemy. We will isolate ourselves to almost seem like, there's no other solution or it's only me. And I talk about these things so freely. No, it's not salacious. No, it might not be the hot buzzword topics, but guess what? These are things that people go through that they're searching on Google. I check all the SEO and all these things, and people who are in that world with me know what I'm talking about. I see the posts on different social media. People are going through these things and they feel as though they're the only ones. And I'm here to tell you, you're not the only one. It's something that happens in life. It's not negative, it's life. It's a command, again, to be more creative, to be more strategic, to be more positive, to be more open, and maybe to be more assertive. Maybe to start saying yes versus no, or no versus yes. But that's what this is asking you to do. Life wants you to be better. So, part four of going to different strategies to get you unstuck. This one, you got to brace yourself for. And it's about bracing yourself because this is going to be a hit in the stomach for some of you all. I'm all about being positive. Make no mistake on that. I am all about it. I monitor what goes on my Facebook posts, what comes in and out of people's mouths on my timeline. Because if you bring that foolishness to me or bring that to over here, it's not happening. I will shut that down. Not interested in that. Go do that in your yard with your pet. I don't know, pet kite. That ain't happening here. But you also cannot be enamored with the fact that you want to be so, I hear lots of work about gratitude, and I appreciate that. I'm never knocking that. I really get that. But at some point, you got to recognize you got to kiss the ugly baby. You got to recognize that you got to do the thing that you don't want to do. It's just got to be recognizing what reality is so you can get a better outcome. So, part four of the strategy is all about just being boom, direct, upfront, honest, and having the cojones, the balls, the guts, the gumption, the belief, taking my belief in you and using that to push through. Because when you're stuck sometimes, and many times, you got to be bold. You've got to sometimes throw the Hail Mary. That's why that play even exists. I need to get this ball down the field as fast as possible to achieve a goal. And strategy is all about the plan that you have to succeed. The plan that you have to succeed needs energy, and boldness is a whole new energy that will push you through. No, it's not, well, do this strategy, or no, it's not, think about it this way, and no, it's not, go about, and write 25 things down. Those things can work, but many times what does work the most effectively is You just have to go do the thing that you don't want to do. You do it scared, you do it shaky, you do it afraid, you do it with support, you do it any way that's got to get done, but you got to approach it. Because if you don't sit back and think about, okay, I've got to go out there and do this, and let me do this. Sometimes those strategies are great ways of getting things done, but is it treating the actual symptom, meaning will it come back and bite you? You're not going to learn anything from it. So in many cases, this does not apply to all. I'm not thick-headed enough to believe that that strategy works for everything. But many times when you were trying to figure out the best way, Brad, I appreciate the love, brother. When many times when you're working on putting yourself out there, you're working on doing these different things that's making you feel stuck, that's making you feel just whatever, and you feel like you want to stay still, you just gotta like, I got this. I can do this. It ain't gonna be pretty, but I can handle it. And if you're taking some of these strategies, you're not learning those fundamental lessons. I love being a parent. If you've been following me, if you follow me, if you're a parent, if you're not a parent, if you're just someone who likes seeing someone being a parent, I talk about a lot of different things with my son. Some are just super top over the moon. Sometimes it could be him, his teeth is trying to come in, which can be for him. I don't know if anybody has any small children that lost teeth, or maybe whatever. It kind of bothered him, threw him off. It's life. But I learn from those things. It's not easy being a parent. Parents know what I'm talking about, but it's not easy being a parent. But the strategy, again, with that is you got to go do it. You got to make sure you're paying attention. You got to make sure, like, I'm not sure quite what to do, but I know if I'm locked in, I can watch this little life and figure out the best way of going about doing things. There's no strategy there other than being bold and being present and being ready to react and knowing that you can handle it. And by you doing these things over and over again, and I'm focusing on parents because, this is something I see a lot of parents struggle with when they feel as though I don't know what to do with my son, my daughter, my little ones, or if you're a caregiver, you might feel this way. Being bold here is just being so present that you're ready to react to what needs to happen. Another example of being bold and just kind of moving forward with things is when you're scared in life. I get scared in life just like anybody else walking around. It's hard to scare me, except if you put me on a plane, and I'm working on that. What I was talking about a couple days ago. But when you're scared doing something, you're walking in the woods, terrified, and this could be in any area of your life, any realm of your life. When you are scared, we all, no matter your age, no matter your belief, no matter whatever things people like to segment themselves in, this thing is just, we all share this. You get your heart's racing, your voice might crack. You might not be able to look at people in the eye. You might use even a different vocabulary because if you don't think your emotions affect what words you access, think again. But we all have these responses, and you're walking, but you got to get to that destination. And work with me here on this kind of metaphor. When someone is there with you, you're still going to walk through that scary forest. But when someone is there with you, it's really hard to not recognize like I'm scared, but someone's there with me. You might be thinking in the back of your head, if something comes out the wood, I could trip this person up and I'll get away and I can tell the story better. You could say something like that, but however you might view it, I'm hoping you're not doing that. I'm just more so being funny. But when you are scared and you're walking with someone and you know that you've got to be bold, but you got someone to have you that has your best interest, who has your back, who's holding you down, who's saying things to you like, you scared? I'm scared too. And kind of sharing their experience, it makes it that much easier. I'm not trying to say it's going to take all the pain away. I'm not saying that it's going to make it like, wow, I can do this over and over and over again, but it makes it better. But you got to be bold and walk through it. Isolation is an enemy is what I talked about early on. Earlier, I've talked about that for the last couple of days prior to this. But I'm challenging everybody to, be bold, but also when you're being bold, it's a lot easier when you have support, when you got someone saying, hey, you can do it. When I see my son, I'm looking to the left, he's home, sitting not feeling the best with dad today. But, when I see my son and, we're doing activities or we're laughing and joking, when we're kids, we used to get so many attaboys. Hey, man, you're doing great. Even when things aren't going, perfect, just saying, hey, I love how you kept that smile as you figured out how to spell that word during the spelling bee. Hey, thank you for letting me know you need some help getting your bottom right. Parents, you know what I'm talking about. Not trying to be gross, but it's reality. It changes things. When I say those things to my son, it's not to manipulate, it's the truth. But you're like, I love that you're making progress. Even when it's imperfect, you're making progress. I love that. Kids just brighten up. My son's eyes just like pop when he has these things. And it's such a magical moment. If you're a parent, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But as adults, I don't know why, as adults, I'm not quite sure why, we forget that we need those things. You okay, buddy? Excellent. As adults, we forget that we need those things, or maybe we thought that we're too mature and sophisticated. I don't know about you, but I can tell you when somebody I care about, Brad, you're one of my people, by the way, when he says, hey man, you're doing so good, you know, if you watch my body language, I'm like, all right, yeah, yeah. It empowers me, it encourages me, it lets me know we need those as adults. It helps you be bolder, it helps you feel more energized, it helps you feel more encouraged, it helps you feel more positive that I can do this. We need those things to be bold. So don't work really hard not to isolate yourself. And if you're saying, hey, you might not have that support system, I get that because I'm all about auditing my friends, and maybe you recognize that you might not have the best relationships. Find a virtual one, broadcasts like this. YouTube, I cannot stress to you how significant that was very early on in my life and giving me the support that I needed. But we need those things to keep going through these tough times. Tough times come and tough times pass, but it's who you become because of those tough times. So some of these tough times that when all of us can get stuck, it's not about breaking you down. It's about recognizing I need to become better. And the only way I can get better is about learning from that with part four, this 4-part strategy about being bold. Be bold. Face it. It's not the sexy way that everybody wants to talk about because you go, oh, I can, go here and hit it this way. Or I go there, hit it that way. No, straight through it. Get it, get your lesson, and get out of there. There's nothing wrong with you. It's not a judgmental thing. Criticism and judgment tends to go up when energy goes down. But you got to be bold. Get out there, get after it, get unstuck. Listen to the part 1, 2, and 3. Listen to part 4. But I promise you, do these things. You're going to be better from it, especially if you're looking at it. I can't wait to see who I'm going to become after I get through this. Not who I am now, but after. Last analogy. I'm a big, health guy, fitness guy, and it's not about being sexy flexy. It's about making sure that I can run around with my little guy as long as I possibly can for the next 30 to 40 years. But whenever you do anything, I talked about this yesterday in part 3, the first time that you do it, especially if you mentally, and so a lot of what we talk about is more of can be a mental thing, and this might be helpful for some of you, that imperfect action will create a perfection in you. And let me explain. When at first time I did, 225 pounds, it's not a lot of weight, but I'm 18, 19 years old. It was so flipping heavy. I wanted to get like 10 reps. I was begging just to get 1 or 2. The first time you go into the bar, you're nervous. You're sitting there and, you got a spotter. And, at the time, it could be that one guy or gal who's just, maybe making jokes, but they can see you a little nervous. And then, happy hit you on the chest like, all right, let's go. You get under that bar. That's when reality hits you. And I know this, a lot of times people are so intellectually smart. They understand the ins and outs, how to put every piece of the car together, but they can't put it together. They cannot, because it's one thing to intellectually know things. That's one thing. But for you to get uncomfortable and have to face every single thing that you have felt, that's when the discomfort kicks in. And that's when the real man shows up, as they say. When that real man shows up, when you pick up that bar, you recognize that my life is about to be really different if I don't get this under control. And that's exactly how it feels when we get stuck. I need to get serious and I need to get locked in. There is no strategy that's going to get that off your chest other than tapping out. And we do not tap out. We do not tap out. I cannot stress that enough. If you know me personally, you know how I am. We're going to find a way. It ain't going to be pretty all the time, but we're going to get out of this. But when I can't tap out and you say, I got to come under this bar, a victor, and you say, I'm moving forward, you bring that bar down. It's shaking. It's going crazy. The plates are rattling. And you're like, oh gosh, oh gosh, oh gosh, oh gosh. And your spotter's like, hey, you got it, you got it. And you could just tell it's going to be an ugly thing. But all of a sudden, that bar starts going up. And you're like, oh, I'm doing it. And then you're like, boom, sweat's everywhere. Your spotter is looking like they got to work out. Because most of the time, they're just more anticipating, so they're ready to seize, and you're thinking, oh, they must have got it as that bar comes up, and you rack it up. It's done. It's not pretty. It wasn't something that you wanted to put on Facebook or any other social media thing, but it's finished. Now, I tell everybody, once you do something that made you really uncomfortable, it wasn't pretty, it was imperfect action, but you want that created that outcome in your reality that you wanted, Do it again, because it's going to remove a lot of those doubts. You got to be bold again, or you're going to think it's an accident. I tell my son that. Do it again. If something scares you, we were at one of those trampoline parks. He was terrified about jumping on one of those giant airbags. He jumped off the airbag. Well, he saw me jump off the airbag and he went down. And he saw me go down. He was like, Daddy, I can't do that. And I looked at him and said, Buddy, yes, you can. And so he gets up there. And it took us a few minutes and we kind of went through, different things. And, hey, bud, you got this, encouraging. And it was like, dude, you just got to do it. And so he did it. And, he falls on like the airbag. He's looking at me and I go get him. I'm like, hey, dude, what's going on? And he's like, oh, congrats, so happy. He's like, I did it. And he's thinking like, whew, I did it. All right. And I'm like, do it again. And he's like, Daddy, what in the French toast is wrong with you? I ain't doing that again. And I said, well, sugar, honey, iced tea, you got to do it. I did not cuss, but you get what I'm getting at. Didn't want to do it, but he did it again. He did it faster. He did it quicker. And he did it without my encouragement. He learned the lesson and also reinforced that he can do it again. And he didn't need as much support. But back to the analogy, when you go and pick that bar up in life and it gets real and you're going down, you got to be bold. You got to push it up, push it up, push it up, get it. Take the lesson, learn from it. Sometimes you're going to have to wash, rinse, and repeat, but now you can do it even faster and do it faster, do it faster. And that's how people can learn to get past some of the worst sugar, honey, iced tea things in life and just get better. It's not pretty, it's not perfect, but it's progress. Go out there, make progress, be bold, and get unstuck today.